Welcome, everybody. We're back for a Monday edition of the Glen Kuiper Show. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We are getting set to talk Giants baseball tonight. We got a great guest. We'll bring him in just a moment. We are 1 week away from the start of spring training, and that has me psyched. And I would imagine it has everybody else psyched, all the baseball fans out there. So we're closing in on spring training. Can you believe that? It's an early start this year, and we're looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to seeing how the Giants do. We're going to talk Giants baseball coming up here in just a moment. But we have to let you know that, as always, the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by Partners Capital, LLC. It's a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind, with experience guiding professional athletes as well as the families next door. Partners Capital, your partner for a stronger financial future. Call them at 1-888-702-7743. The show is also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team, who have been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service since 1978. Whether you're in the market to buy or sell, trust the Carrick Real Estate Team to guide you home. You can contact Mike Carrick today. He'll give you a free home sale or purchase consultation. Do so by calling 925-548-4132. Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Bay Area-based and family-owned, Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. They are always looking for investors, and if you do that, they will take good care of you. Trust me. Call them at 925-209-8558. Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by Area Rug Cleaning Direct. It's a subsidiary of Gamble's Flooring. If your area rug needs professional cleaning or repair, Area Rug Cleaning Direct will pick up and return your area rug looking brand new within 5 business days. It's family owned and proudly serving the Bay Area for over 35 years. Call Area Rug Cleaning Direct at 925-933-9999 for all your area rug needs. Thanks to all of our sponsors, as they have been with me for the most part from the start, as we are now closing on 18,000 subscribers. Man, it's amazing. I still can't believe that the great folks out there just keep on subscribing, and I certainly appreciate it. All right, it's time to talk Giants baseball and some other things that are going on in the world of baseball with one of my favorite people. He's a good man. Former Giants left-hander Shawn Estes is joining us tonight. Shawnee, how are you, buddy?
Glenn, I'm great, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, I've been wanting to get you on. You and I have known each other for a long, long time. We've had a lot of laughs together. We've had some serious chats together. But you're one of my favorite ex-Giants, so I appreciate you coming on. 13 years in the big leagues, 7 with the Giants. You know what? Yeah. You struck together a pretty good career. I gotta be honest with you.
Parts of 13, but yeah, actual maybe 11 active. You know, I mean, there were some injuries there, but yeah, I think that's the service time that I ended up with, which, man, I feel like that it was just I blinked and it was over. I've actually been broadcasting longer now than I did than I was a player, which is amazing to me. It goes by so fast. I mean, you and I came in the game. You were just starting your broadcasting career.
Absolutely.
I was starting my career, and we had some great times together.
Oh, we did.
The Giants, not just on the field, but off the field at times.
Absolutely. We did. We had lots of fun. And, you think about it, you're right. You've been broadcasting now longer than playing. We see all the time on the pre and post game show on NBC Sports Bay Area. The Giants pre and post, you do a great job on there. 7 years with the Giants. And, if you look at your career, I mean, those were the 7 best years of your career statistically. And you had some good years after that as well. But, I was thinking the years that you were there, Shawn, and you were there from you got there in 1995. 2001 was your last year there. But you think about the things that happened in that time period. You saw an organizational turnaround, right? Started in 1997. You saw Barry Bonds at his finest. You saw Jeff Kent, who's now a Hall of Famer. You saw him really turn his career around. You saw a new stadium be built, and you were part of that and the excitement with that. So I just think, you have to have tremendous memories of your time in a Giants uniform. because there was a lot of good things happening and a lot of big things happening that you were a witness to.
Yeah, it was really the best, to be honest with you. I mean, I obviously, as a young kid, with dreaming of playing in the major leagues, and then growing up a Giants fan, getting drafted by the Mariners, and then being traded to the Giants, which was a dream come true, to have the opportunity to play in the big leagues. And then I did, and it was in Candlestick, and that was the ballpark that I grew up going to as a kid. So I thought Candlestick was the best stadium on the planet. Well, little did I know that after they built, Pac Bell and now Oracle,
It's a little different.
That's a little different. It's a little different. But as a young kid, you didn't know any different. You were in the big leagues and you loved playing in Candlestick, and without a doubt, a lot of monumental things happened. When I was a Giant, a lot of great memories. Like you mentioned, the trade in '97, trading away, the beloved Matt Williams, was forever Giant, Gold Glover, third baseman, MVP candidate, and Brian Sabian, made the big, bold move of trading him and completely overhauling our 97 roster, from almost losing 96 games in 96. And then we went on to win the division that year, and we really never looked back. It was a pretty good run of Giants going into the playoffs, or at least having a chance to go to the playoff for the next 4 or 5 years. Really, actually, the next probably 6 or 7 years. Before the little bit of a lull. And then watching Barry Bonds break the record at Oracle Park. And then, just having a playoff year that year. I don't know. There was just a ton of great managers. Like you said, like statistically, yes, those were my best years. Quite frankly, it was because I just felt at home in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco in the off season. I was one of the few players that did live there. So I got to kind of ingrain myself in the community in the off season. Being one of the few guys there, you're asked to do a lot of the stuff in the community, and I was able to do that, which, and also really get to see the city of San Francisco. If you remember, a lot of guys, when they played at Candlestick, would never stay in the city. They'd stay on the peninsula down south, or really not even in the East Bay. It was all South Bay, or all peninsula guys. And I wanted to check out the city. I felt like that, it was a great opportunity for me to see the city. I was single at the time. I was like, why not? And I never left. And then I got to see that new stadium be erected right in front of my eyes and be part of all those festivities. So yes, without a doubt, if you look at that 13-year career, the first 6 years of my career were definitely the highlight.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember when that ballpark was built. I remember going to the first game, and I wasn't working. I think the game was televised by Channel 2, and I wasn't working. I was covering the Giants at the time, but not that day. And I got there early, and I wanted to see the people coming in when the gates opened, because if you think about it, that's the first. I mean, there had been an exhibition game there before, but I really wanted to feel it. I remember I stood up on the ramp and I watched at the Willie Mays Plaza. I watched the gates open and the people come in, and you could feel how special it was going to be. And I always find it interesting. I know you guys always said when the park opened that first month and a half, you guys struggled there a little bit, but the crowd seemed kind of quiet. But once you guys started rolling, you guys had a great team that year. Then the place it became electric. And I just remember going, whether I was working or not, I went to all 81 games because it was so much fun. And the people were just so excited about this new ballpark. And, going out after it'd be fun. The restaurants around the place were fun. And it was just a really cool time, for somebody like me who was covering the team. But I can imagine how the players felt, because it really was a special time.
It was amazing. I mean, it really was. Like you said, I mean, it was kind of quiet, but it didn't help. I think we lost our first 8 games at home or something like that. I know we got swept at home by the Dodgers to kick things off, which isn't the way you want to open up a new stadium. I remember Elster's 3 home runs on opening day at that ballpark. We all kind of said, well, now it's going to become corporate, right? All the people there, that they're there to they're not the true Giant fans, like we had in Candlestick. If we had 14 to 20,000 at Candlestick, you heard them all, right?
Oh, yeah.
They were diehards. We thought about that a little. We talked about that as players a little bit in the clubhouse. It's like, man, it does seem kind of quiet here. I mean, it's a beautiful ballpark. And then, quite frankly, is like maybe we should start winning some games and then see if they start to cheer, because we took so long to win.
What a concept, right?
What a concept, right? Win, and they not only do they show up, but they make some noise. But then we ended up having the best record in all of baseball at home that year, if you remember. Like slow start, but man, when we kicked it in gear, we were really good at home and tough to beat.
And I remember, I don't know what year it was. It may have been 2000. You had like one of the greatest games as a pitcher ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you threw a shutout and you hit a grand slam. Is that right?
Yeah, I barely remember it, but it was May 20th, 2000, and May 24th. Sorry, May 24th. No, I mean, I look back on the career and I'm just like, if I had to pick out probably the best moment game of my career, that would be it. I had a couple that may be close, but I think, like we mentioned, just being in that new ballpark, and that was in May. That's when we started to play better baseball at home. We started to win some games. Now you started to really hear the crowd. Yeah. And I had my best game as a professional athlete. I think 18-0 was the final. Hit a grand slam that game, and I think I had 4 RBIs, something like that, and pitched a shutout. But I think the highlight of that game was just having to come out for a curtain call, which I'd never done before, and I never did again. So that was the one time I got to do that. And then, every once in a while, seeing some highlights of that game, because the Giants do a good job of replaying, big games on this day in Giants history, and they do that one quite a bit. But at the end of the video, Barry comes out. He was probably up watching. He was probably up in the clubhouse doing something. He came down and he gave me the bow. He started bowing on the bench.
You got the Barry bow, right? Hey,
I got the Barry bow, which this is the home run king. I'm like, wow, this is pretty impressive. But yeah, no, what a night that was. And I had a lot of family there too. They came to a lot of those home games, but I had a especially big family and friends crew that night to watch that game. So one of those times, one of those nights, one of those memories I'll never forget.
I looked at your career, and I don't know if people realize you were with the Cubs in 2003. Yeah. You were there for the Bartman game and you saw it all. What are your memories of that? Because I know it was a disappointment for the Cubs and for you, I'm sure, in the city of Chicago. You lose to the Marlins, you let the thing get away. But what were some of your memories from that series? Because I know the whole city of Chicago was set to go to the World Series. Unfortunately, things got a little weird.
Yeah, they sure did. I was going to say that 2000 team I played on the Giants was definitely the best team I ever played on in my career. I thought that team had the best shot to win a World Series. And then I got to the Cubs, and I still think that Giants team was better, but that Cubs team had a better pitching, better rotation, minus myself, I should say. I wasn't on the roster in the playoffs. Dusty was our manager. I was in a rotation with Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, Carlos Zambrano, and Matt Clement. Yeah, all 4 guys that had really, really good careers. Yeah. And Mark Pryor is now the pitching coach for our hated Dodgers. But but that rotation was as good as I've ever been a part of. And that's the reason why we won a lot of games when we won the playoffs. But that game in particular, Mark Pryor was on the mound, and he was dealing like he had been doing all playoffs and all year. And we thought we were going to win that game. I mean, we went up 3-0 in that series. I believe it was 3-0 or at least 3-1.
It may have been 3-1.
I remember telling Jim Hendry, who was our GM, because we lost game 5 in Florida. And I remember getting on the bus and I said, you know what? I said, at least we'll be able to celebrate in front of our fans. I was 100% convinced. And he said to me, he's like, no, I wanted to win tonight's game. Now that's how a GM thinks, right? They're like, we got to win tonight. Well, I was convinced that we had Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood going in game 6 and 7, and we're going to win one of those for sure. Just the way things had gone that whole playoffs. And we should have won that game. And Bartman, he's going to get a lot of the blame for it. And Waisa Salou even came out probably way too much way later than he should have, and said that he probably wouldn't have caught that ball. but really it was, you know, some defensive miscues that we had really that led to us losing that game. But I do remember going up. I wasn't on the roster, but I was in uniform and in the dugout, and I remember going up between the 7th and the 8th inning to use the restroom. And I remember they had the plastic on the locker.
Oh, the plastic.
They had so, you know, so when guys are spraying the champagne, it doesn't get all the clothes wet and stuff. And they had the podium was already in place and the champagne was already on ice. And I remember thinking, like, that's too soon. We got 6 outs to go.
Yeah.
And not that I felt like that I was, you know, baseball players are very superstitious, but not like I felt like that we were jinxed because of it. But I had this feeling when I went down to the dugout that, like, I can't believe that they're already setting up. Like, it's not over yet. A lot of things could happen in baseball. And as we remember now, that a lot of things did happen in the next 6 outs of that game. We lose the game, and then the next day in Game 7, you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. It was just and the energy had completely been zapped out of that city after Game 6 because they were just looking for a reason not to win. You know, it was all the curses that the Cubs fans believe that were put on the Cubs with the GOAT and all that stuff. They just felt like they were doomed.
That was it.
And then that was it. And so, you know, the Marlins ended up going on to win the World Series that year. And fortunately for the Cubs, they ended up pulling it out a few years later.
And I think, too, you know, people shouldn't underestimate that Marlins team. That was a really, really good team.
Great team.
I mean, they beat the Giants, you know, in the series before. I mean, they had a great team. I mean, they had stars just like the Cubs did.
Yeah.
So that was not a fluke World Series win by them.
Not at all. I mean, they had veteran guys. They had gamers on that team.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't as strong probably as a starting rotation, but they had Josh Beckett that year, who was just phenomenal in the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, I think he completely shut the Yankees down in their clinching game in the World Series. He's the guy that beat us in Game 5 in Florida. But no, I mean, they weren't as strong in the rotation, but they had a pretty solid bullpen, and they could mash. They could mash. I mean, from top to bottom, they had some pros.
Yeah.
But they beat the Yankees at that time. Remember, the Yankees were pretty good still. They had a pretty good run going. But you don't get many opportunities like that. You know, you don't get that close to have a chance to go to the World Series. That was the closest I ever got to the World Series. But people look at, you know, now, you know, certain teams are getting there, you know, more frequently than others. It's not that easy. Even as good as, you know, the Dodgers have been over the years, how many divisions have they won and how many World Series have they actually been to, right? And look at the Braves in the 90s, how great they were in the mid-90s. They won 1 World Series. So it doesn't guarantee, if you have the best team, guarantee you 1 World Series. A lot of things have to go your way.
Yeah. We got a comment from one of our viewers. How do you guarantee a win? Hit a grand slam, pitch 4-hit shutout. Incredible, Shawn. You know what? You're probably going to get the W right there.
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good shot, right?
Yeah.
You hit a grand slam, you're scoring 4, and if you don't give up a run, you win. At least 4-zip. But yeah, we won 18. The offense pitched in. JT Snow had he had, I think, 5 RBIs that game, maybe 6. He had another big one. He had another big game that. Yeah.
So Shawn, you pitched. I mean, gosh, over 280 starts in your career. That's a lot of chucks out of your left arm. Can you throw a ball now without your arm being sore? Because I mean, I know a lot of former pitchers, and they're like, I mean, you know, I'm good friends with Dennis Eckersley, who's in the Hall of Fame, and the poor guy can't. He's like, he can't, you know, right?
Yeah.
And I feel bad. But I mean, are you all right? Is the lefty wing okay?
The lefty wing is good. I mean, coincidentally, I'm coaching. I have an 8-year-old son that's really into baseball, so I'm coaching his baseball team, and we started a little club team. So I'm the coach of that, and so I got to throw BP. And I mean, I got some older boys that I had to throw BP to. That was probably 10 years ago, but yeah, it still works. Now, does it get sore? Absolutely. I mean, am I cranking it up to 80? I probably couldn't. But I mean, as far as being able to throw batting practice to my kids and to my team, it's good enough. Yeah, I mean, it still goes. Yeah, I got the zipper. I got the old zipper that a lot of the guys got. I didn't end my career, but it was toward the end of my career. So I got a brand new elbow. So that's good. It's mainly the shoulder. If anything hurts, it's the shoulder. But I try to stay active, do enough to stay in shape. So mainly so I can do stuff and not get hurt. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Welcome to old age, big boy.
I know it.
Do stuff so you don't get hurt. Yeah. Do stuff so you don't stumble. All right, let's get to the Giants. We're both locked and loaded here. It's been an interesting off season. I don't think fans are completely content with what's happened. I'm a little more of a positive thinker. I don't, I like what they've done. I get why they've done what they've done and maybe haven't done some things that other people would like them to do. Let's start with Bader, the center fielder. You being a pitcher, obviously you're going to turn around and be happy to see Bader in center field if you were still pitching. But that was a question mark that I think got answered with Bader. He's a good player. He plays hard. I don't know that you can run him out there for 150 games, but, I think he's, for the most part, going to be your starting center fielder. I mean, you got to keep him healthy, but he's legit defensively. And if he hits a little bit from the bottom of the order, I think it's a plus signing, don't you?
I do. I love the signing. He was one of the guys going into the offseason I was hoping that they did get. Everybody wants the big, the big name, the Giants have obviously missed on a lot of those guys in the past 5 or 6 years. But, to me, I feel like that offensively, they're as good as they've been in a long time. I mean, people forget. I mean, Devers struggled at first as a Giant, and I think that's to be expected, coming over from a new team and doing into a new league and playing a position he frankly has never played before. And I think there was a lot of probably too high of expectations for him, just based on numbers-wise what he did in the American League. I personally think that after just that half season under his belt, that he's gonna put up those type of numbers this year and just lock down the middle part of that lineup.
I agree.
I really do. I think he's going to have an unbelievable year. And you have an offense that, it's a veteran offense. It's I believe they're going to score runs. They're going to grind out at bats. They're going to give you great at bats. Chapman and Adames want to play every day. They're on the left side of the field. Now you got a second baseman that led the league in hits last year. He's gonna get on base for you. You know that. And then Bader, I mean, people look at his defense, but I mean, he had a great offensive year last year, and he can knock the ball out of the ballpark. He's a strong kid. So, you got Ramos doing what he did offensively, and now you can move Jung-Hoo to right. And if Bader needs a day, or if he gets hurt or something happens, Jung-Hoo can move back to center. You got to go Glover behind the plate. I'm really high on this team. I love how it's put together right now. Obviously the X factor could be Eldridge, and I mean, he's young, he's a kid, but gosh, if he does anything close to what they think he can do this year, he's going to be a huge addition to that lineup, and you can put him in first and DH. I think they have some options. They have options now. They got a very veteran lineup, which I love, and I think they're going to score a ton of runs this year.
So they sign Arraez, which I had said last week. I didn't think they would go that route. I'm not disappointed that they did at all, because I think he's going to help them more than maybe people are even thinking. But I just didn't think they were going to go that route, just because of the concern about the defensive liability that he is. And I think everybody knows that. But you have to hope for, listen, I mean, he's not an old player. He's 28 years old. Maybe there's room for improvement there. Maybe Ron Washington can do something with him. I don't know. But like I said, I didn't see it, but I'm glad they did. But what I wanted to ask you, Shawn, is I am amazed. I mean, they signed him, Saturday? So it's 48 hours ago. I have been amazed at the amount of analytical analysis of this guy's offensive hitter by everybody on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it's like, holy smokes, where are these people coming up with this stuff? And I get it. It's analytics. It's interesting. It's good stuff. But I just think it's getting completely overblown with this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he hits a fly ball. He's out. Oh my God. It's like, just, okay, stop. Let's slow down here a little bit, right? I get it. Analytics is a big thing, and I like it, and I look at it too. But this kid can hit, right?
I mean,
And I don't care what his hard hit rate is. I don't care, because if he flips the ball if he has to, he covers the pitches away. And you know what, Shawn? Every time he came to bat against the Giants in the last 2 years for the Padres, I hated him coming up because I thought he was going to get a hit.
That's exactly right. I mean, I'm with you on that, and that's exactly how I'm analyzing him. Is that, do I want to? If I'm a pitcher, do I want to face him in any situation? If I need a strikeout, do I want to face him? Probably not the first, not the last. I mean, he would be the last guy I'd want to face, right? If I need to get a strikeout. Why?
Yeah.
Because he'll find a way to put the ball in play, and a lot of times. And we've said it a lot with the Giants lineup in over the past few years, is they strike out a lot, right? Just put the ball in play. You never know what's going to happen when you put the ball in play. A lot of times good things will happen, but he squares up balls when he puts them into play. He doesn't have a hard contact rate, but he hits the barrel, right? And he ends up getting hits. Bottom line, led the National League in hits. I mean, what else do you need to say? I don't want to face him. I don't want to face him with runner in scoring position. He has a knack for driving that run in because he's going to use all the fields. There's no way to pitch. There's no one way to pitch him. It's going to be tough to get him and hit into a double play because he has such great back control that, he can hit a line drive. He can hit you a sac fly if you need it. He's just a true hitter in every essence of the definition of a hitter. And he's a guy I don't want to ever face. And like you said, I don't like seeing him come up.
Yeah.
In any situation. To lead an inning off, I'm like, okay, pretty good chance he's going to get on base.
Yeah.
Guy on first, nobody out. He can hit a double. Now he's on second, nobody out. And so now it makes the inning that much more stressful. I love the signing. Yes, did I think they were going to go that route? Absolutely not. Thought they may make a trade for maybe Donovan or you started hearing Ketel Marte, Nico Horner. All these guys sound very intriguing, right? Like they're really good players and probably longer term. But for just a year to see how it goes, and you mentioned Ron Washington too. Maybe the best, no, not maybe. He is the best infield coach that we probably in our generation. I'm guaranteeing that he could do some things to improve his defense, and and it won't be for lack of trying if he doesn't. Right.
Yeah,
and
I agree. And I think the Washington thing, I would imagine that it came up in the Giants' conversations amongst themselves about, should we go after Arraez?
I bet it did. I mean, I wasn't in those conversations, but it's like, defensive metrics aren't great. That's why the Padres moved him from second base to first and then DHing at times. But, he came up a second baseman, and they felt like that maybe they could unlock some things there defensively, and that he wanted to play second base. I think that was the biggest thing. And he knows his defense needs to get better. And so he's going to work hard to improve his defense. He doesn't no one wants to be a liability out there.
Yeah, and you know what, Shawn? I mean, if I'm a player in Arraez's situation, right? He's a really good hitter. We know that. Defense is an issue. But you're only 28 years old. I mean, he's not an old player at all. If you can really work hard and improve your defense, and if Ron Washington can do that, great. That is going to all of a sudden make you a more attractive player when you become a free agent, because obviously there's a lot of teams that maybe didn't like him as a player this offseason because he was a free agent. And he got a one-year deal from the Giants. So there's something out there that maybe some teams weren't sure about. It's probably the defense, and I get that. You and I aren't sitting here saying he's a perfect player, because he's not. He's somewhat one-dimensional. But that one dimension that he has, to me, is exactly what the Giants need. That's why I feel like it's a pretty good fit, I think. We've heard, all of us people in the media, we've heard the fans say they strike out too much. I'm sick of watching strikeouts. How many times have we heard that? Well, now you have a guy who doesn't strike out at all, right? Maybe that helps your lineup in a couple different ways. So listen, I'm not sitting here saying he's a perfect player at all, but I think what he does and the kind of hitter he is, I think that's what the Giants need to offset everything else that they have.
He puts the pressure on the opposition from the first bat of the game, from the first pitch of the game. As a starting pitcher, there's nothing better than having a guy that leads off a game that you can pitch to, right? You make your pitches, you're going to get them out. Now, he's a guy that he's tough to pitch to because why? He'll hit the ball all over the ballpark. Like you can't pitch him away, he'll shoot it the other way. You pitch him in, he's quick enough to turn on it. He's got unbelievable bat to ball skills, and he doesn't swing in a lot of pitches out of the zone. So you don't get him to chase a whole lot. So you have to be perfect early in a ball game just to get the guy out. And then a lot of times you don't. And then boom, who do you got coming up behind him? Probably Devers, right? And now you got a guy in first base with the right-hand side open of the field. Now, and as hard as he hits the ball, now it opens up the whole right side of the infield if he hits the ball on the ground, and then he can also hit the ball out of the ballpark. It just puts a lot more pressure, I believe, on the opposing pitcher when you have a guy at the top of your lineup that can get on base, and that that can do a lot with the bat. I mean, he's a magician with the bat. I do believe that defensively he's going to get better. So, yes, you're right. I mean, he's got a lot of motivation to have a solid year this year because he's going to be a free agent again after the season.
That's right. And I think too that Casey Schmidt, we like Casey Schmidt. I think Casey has a chance to be a pretty good major league player. I do feel that way. But if he's your super utility guy, which is what they're talking about now, that's not a bad thing because that's a pretty good guy to have on your bench. Because listen, we don't know what's going to happen with Eldridge either. Everybody's locking him in to the lineup, and you're asking a lot from this kid to expect him to be in the lineup on opening day. I hope he is because I think it would be super fun to watch. But I just don't think that's a for sure thing. And Casey Schmidt can do a good job at first base some, at second base some. He could play short if he had to. We know he can play third. I'm not so sure Casey Schmidt couldn't be a decent outfielder. But it makes you, if that's the case, if Casey's your super utility guy, then your roster is much better with the addition of Arraez, right? And isn't that
100%? Oh yeah. Not only did your offense get stronger, but it made your roster deeper.
That's right.
Like you said about Schmidt, I think that's actually a perfect role for him. Obviously, he probably doesn't want to hear that. He probably wants to hear that. And he probably believes, and I hope he does, that he could be an everyday third baseman for some major league team or an everyday second baseman, wherever it is, because he's very good defensively. And maybe one of these days he gets that opportunity. But on this team, I mean, what a luxury it would be to have a guy like that who that you can put out there, and he's an upgrade defensively, probably all over the field, with the exception of maybe Chapman.
Yeah,
but
you may be right.
He's an upgrade defensively, and now he's got some more experience offensively. He's had some success offensively, and he got that wrist fixed, and that was the thing that was hampering him last year, second half of the season after he hurt that wrist, or I think it was a wrist that he had surgery on. Yeah. And now that's fixed, so he's got a lot of confidence that he knows that he can get it done to the big league level, and I think they're going to find at bats for him. Because there's going to be guys.
I would agree with that. I think
Vitello probably. I know Adonis and Chapman want to be in there every day. They're gonna fight their way in a lineup every day. But I think for them to be at their best, they're gonna need days from time to time.
Yeah.
And what a luxury it would be to have a Casey Schmidt to plug in there, and at first base or at second base, anywhere, like you said. So I think it did. I would have felt a lot less confident going into the season with Casey being the everyday second baseman, coming off of an injury with that wrist, that you don't know how long it's going to take him to get back into the swing of things. And now you got a guy that's proven that can absolutely rake. So I makes their team better.
There will be at bats there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Whatever happens for Casey Schmidt, but I just look at the big picture, and to me, the roster is better because of the two additions they've made. We got a couple comments. At Scott Green says, "I love the Arraez kid. I think this was a perfect signing. His Tony Gwynn style hitting is so pesky, so good." Yeah, and I just don't think there's a lot of hitters like him anymore, and maybe that's why people are so skeptical. I'm not that skeptical. Bake That Dough says, "It's really incredible a 3-time batting champ is bouncing around this much and can only land a 1-year deal, $12 million deal. Today's game doesn't value batting average anymore." There may be some truth to that. I think, Shawn, it's become so hard to hit now, right? I mean,
guys are nasty.
Just look at Team Batting. Everybody's down. I mean, somebody who won the batting title last year, was it Trey Turner? And it was like 310 or something like that. You know what I mean?
For a while, it was someone that wasn't even going to hit 300, but
yeah.
I don't know if Trey ended up getting over 300 or not. But
yeah, somebody did. But so I guess the point is like, hey, you got a 300 hitter. If he slaps the ball around, then he slaps the ball around. I don't have a big problem with this style. Now, do you want 9 guys that do that? Probably not. But
no. Then you'd be the 82 Cardinals or something.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
You have to have a lot of speed.
But I think it's going to be fun. I do. And here's my question to you, Shawn. And I'm going to spend a whole show on this because lineups are super fun to talk about, right? You can talk about a lineup for days, right? But I find the possibilities now with this Giants lineup, if you have Eldridge in there, let's say that he's in there, and Arraez, and we know that the characters here. But is leading Arraez off, is that an automatic, you think? Because last year he hit second mostly for the Padres because they have Tatis leading off. So you think about that mix, whether you like that or not. I'm just curious if it's just an automatic put Arraez in the leadoff spot. Would he be better somewhere else? Because he's a very, very good hitter with runners in scoring position. His career average is 347 with runners in scoring position. So that's not a fluke, right? He's been doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Would you?
Yeah, I think
leadoff guy or no?
I think with this lineup, he is because you don't have a Tatis type guy, right? That can do that. And Tatis is so dynamic that he not only can hit for average, but he also can hit a home run too.
Yeah.
So he puts the pressure on even more as a pitcher that you have to be really good early in the game. And you can't make a mistake. But I mean, who's that guy? I don't think they have that guy in their lineup. I think it makes the most sense.
There's so many different things you could do here, right?
Yeah.
Ramos lit off a lot last year. What about Ramos first, Arraez second? So I'm just throwing things out there, but there's many.
Vitello makes the experiment with all that. Personally, I'd rather face Ramos to lead a game off than I would Arraez. I mean, that's just a personal thing, and that's lefty on lefty. So Arraez is straight lefty, isn't he?
Yeah.
But the reason why I say that is because I've never ever been concerned about him hitting against a left-hander. And is it because he hits righty? No, it's because he can hit lefties.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not fazed by lefties. But I would rather face Ramos because I know that Ramos will swing and miss at times. I know he's pitchable. He's a guy that I know if I make my pitches, yes, can he hit a home run? Absolutely. But I know if I make my pitches, I'm going to get him out. Right now, I got one out, and I deal with whoever's coming up next. But I'm not out of the stretch having to face somebody that, I know Arraez isn't a big base stealing threat.
Oh, he's not. Yeah,
he's not stealing bases.
No,
and that's another knock on him, I'm sure. You don't want your leadoff guy, but Ramos isn't really a stolen base threat either. You know what I mean? Tatis is, right?
Yeah.
Tatis is a stolen base guy. You know, he can get on base and steal you. He can get on base and steal you second base. I just think he makes sense because he's going to get on, and then
Sure.
you got the thump coming behind him. You got Devers, you know, you got Devers, you got Chapman, you got Adames. You know, and that's why I said earlier, I think Eldridge is the X factor in this lineup. I mean, if he could get some confidence going early, I mean, he's a middle of the lineup power threat. You know what I mean? And I don't want to compare him to Kurtz over in Sacramento with the A's, but he's got that type of power.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Kurtz is, you know, obviously one of the best players in baseball. I mean, he had a tremendous year his rookie season, but I mean, I think Eldridge has the ability to be that same guy.
Yeah. I think if Eldridge is there and he makes this team though, Shawn, I think you got to bat him down.
Maybe to start, like you said, maybe to start. Yeah. I mean, I think that they did that with Kurtz, didn't they? When he came up, I don't think
I believe they
plugged
did.
him right in there.
I just think to say, hey, you know, we're going to hit him fifth, and I see it. You know, listen, this is why lineups are super fun to talk about because everybody has a different opinion, and nobody's right, nobody's wrong. But you know, when I see Eldridge in you know people's ideas for lineups hitting fourth or fifth, I'm like, well, wait a minute, you got guys that are fine. You know, I would drop him down. I'd hit him seventh.
It's a lot of pressure. People look like, oh, he's got power. I mean, it's obvious. Well, it's not obvious because as a hitter and you're in that spot, you feel the pressure to produce. Like, and you feel, and you obviously feel like there's a lot more, the team's going to rely on you a lot more in those spots because that's where they put their guys to drive runs in.
Yeah.
So, does he probably believe that he'll do that one day? For sure. But like, I think, yes, to take a little bit of the heat off of him early in the year, bat him down in the lineup. Let him see some fastballs. Let him get overlooked a little bit by some opposing pitchers and let him run into some pitches and get some confidence going. I mean, that's really what it comes down to is just believing that you can hit big league pitching consistently. And he's going to get better pitches to hit. I mean, I'll tell you what, I mean, not that you completely relax at the bottom part of the lineup if you're pitching against the lineup, but you don't grind as hard. You know, you feel like that they're there for a reason, that you can make your pitches and you can get them out.
Sure.
And you're going to go after guys more like that. You're not going to pitch around guys at the bottom part of the lineup. You're going to be more on the attack. So yes, he's going to see more pitches to hit down there. And I think I think it would be very smart to do that. And I hope they don't get too giddy based on if he has a tremendous spring. You know what I'm saying? Like if he goes out, because a lot of those guys go out and have good springs. Because why? Because pitchers are working on their heater. And he's going to see some fastballs and he's going to run into some. In Arizona, you can hit home runs because the air is there, all that stuff. But I hope he doesn't have I hope he has a great spring, but I hope he doesn't have such a good spring where they're like, man, he should be in the middle of our lineup.
Yeah, well,
that's a different animal when the season starts.
It's going to be interesting to watch that because you want the kid to have and listen, nobody wants him to be in the opening lineup more than I do, but you know better than anybody. It's hard, right? It's hard at that age. And we're going to talk about the young pitchers because you were a young pitcher at one time, but whatever your position is, it's hard at being a young guy trying to figure out what to do in the big league. So, you know, I hope they're careful with him. And I actually think that they will be. I do. Yeah. I don't think it's a guarantee that he's going to be in the starting lineup on opening day. I really don't. And they may feel like, hey, we need a little more seasoning with him.
But
again, lineup things.
Possible. Buster was on the. I mean, Eldridge is a high school kid though too. So you know that's another thing we can't forget about.
Absolutely,
he's had a ton of at bats in the minor leagues.
No, I mean, would it kill him to get 2 more months of AAA at bats? I mean, I don't know.
No,
but anyway,
not at all.
The fun thing is the lineup, and we're going to spend a lot of time on it. We could sit here and talk about it. I mean, you could put Jung-Hoo Lee and Arraez at the top.
Yeah.
Right. There's just it's.
Jung-Hoo was the leadoff guy in the first month of the season last year. Jung-Hoo Lee was hitting almost 400.
Sure. Maybe he bats second. Who knows? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the lineup because you got Adames and you got Devers. I don't think I saw Matt Chapman, beginning of his career with the A's. He's a very good hitter. I know he strikes out some. He did not have a good year last year with runners in scoring position. Both his hands were hurt. I keep telling people you can't hit when both your hands are hurt. But I think Matt Chapman is at his best, Shawn, if he's hitting fifth or even sixth. Yeah. Now he may not like that, but I'm just saying I think Chapman hitting fifth would be, and then you got Ramos still, and you know what I mean? I think I would sit with Chapman.
There's nothing wrong with fifth, right? I mean,
no.
Let's go back to that 2000 year. I mean, it was Barry, Jeff, and Ellis Burks was
Ellis Burks, yeah.
I mean, Ellis,
awesome.
murderers go, man. I mean, those guys. So yeah, and Ellis Burks drove in a ton of runs that year. I mean, he was about as clutch as it gets, and so and he was a great run producer his whole career. There's nothing wrong with being fit. You're going to get a lot of opportunities to drive runs in, hitting in the fifth spot, but. I agree. That's probably a good spot for him. I think Devers has got to be your guy. And I don't know where you put your guy anymore. A lot of teams are hitting their guys second.
Yeah.
But
exactly. Not out of the question. Yes. Hey, let's finish with these young Giants pitchers. We know the list, and I talk about them a lot because I think the Giants are showing a lot of confidence in them. By maybe not going out and getting, they signed 2 starters, a couple of back-end rotation starters. Framber Valdez is still out there. We don't know if the Giants are pursuing him or not, but I do think they're showing a lot of confidence in the young group of starters. And you got to the big leagues at 22. It's hard, right? And these kids, Hayden Birdsong and Wisenhunt, and, we know the names. I say them all the time, Tidwell and McDonald, and they all have a chance to be pretty good, but they're all young and they pitched a little bit in the big leagues. Do you think the confidence that the Giants are showing in this group, having them ready to go if someone gets hurt or something, do you think it's warranted? I personally think it is because you need a couple of these guys to stand up and join the rotation at some point.
You do. I mean, you got it. I mean, these are all guys they developed. Tidwell was with the Mets, but developed from within, and Wisenhunt and Birdsong in particular. And you want some of your young guys that you develop to. I mean, you have control of them for 6 years. I mean,
it's the greatest thing ever, right? If you're an organization, there's nothing better.
That's how you build championship rosters. Is you have to have some of your homegrown talent come up and contribute. And what better than having those guys in the rotation to do it? Yeah. Logan was one of those guys. Landon Roop is one of those guys, and he'll be back this year, and he'll probably be in the rotation. But yeah, Birdsong. I mean, to me, out of all those guys, Birdsong has the highest ceiling, just based on what I saw last year when he was on and when he was at his best. He was dominant. The fastball, the upper 90s fastball with just the knee buckler curveball and the slider changeup. I mean, all 4 pitches are above average. He just got into a little funk of throwing strikes, and you're doing it at the big league level, and you're walking guys, and they're not going to have a lot of patience for that. And they didn't. They sent him out. He didn't really make the adjustment in AAA, which was a little concerning. But this offseason, he came out here in November. He worked out with the pitching coaches that the Giants have in place right now. And they tweak some things mechanically, and he feels that he's back to where he needs to be and confident in throwing strikes with all of his pitches. So we'll see. We'll see if those little adjustments and those little tweaks helped in the spring. But as far as stuff goes and just his makeup, because I love the way he carries himself on the mound, his mound presence. And, he showed a lot of confidence, out there, even when he was struggling at times. But I did see a little chink in the armor, when he started walking guys. It was like this. He looked like he was lost. And there's never a worse feeling as a young guy to be lost. So I hope he gets it back because he just makes that rotation even deeper. But I like the 2 veteran guys that they got. Hauser was nasty the second half of last year with the White Sox. I mean, look at the numbers with the White Sox when he got released and picked up. talk about making some adjustments and actually put him into play and like having some success. I mean, I think they got this guy at the right time. And then Maley, who's Molly Maley, I never pronounce it right. He's just a stud. He's just a strike thrower. I mean, he goes out there and throws strikes. He attacks the zone. He's not going to walk guys. You're going to have to beat him. And I think I love the way the rotation's stacking up. I really do, and I think that they do have the depth with the young guys. In particular, Birdsong and heck, you have to love what you saw at McDonald when he came up last year. That guy was filthy.
And you know what? You're going to see a couple of those guys start the season in the big league bullpen. That's my call.
Yeah, maybe like a Tidwell probably too.
Maybe we'll see. I bet one or two of those guys that we're talking about, unless one of the rotation guys gets hurt in spring training, which we certainly hope not, but I think you could see a couple of these young guys in the bullpen.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's what happened to Birdsong last year.
Yeah, and he pitched so well that they put him in the rotation. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, their bullpen is the I think the big question mark coming into the season, is because there's like, who you going to go to? You know, who you going to get those last 3 outs with? And I mean, I know Walker's the guy, but man, there was times last year where you talk about lost, like he was lost. You know?
He was.
That's a big inning to be lost in. You know, you have to have a lot. There's not a lot of room for error in the 9th inning. So I hope he can get it back because he's nasty. I mean,
he may be the most important guy to watch on the entire pitching staff this year, because he needs to turn it around. If he doesn't, then you're searching for a closer. If he is who he was in 2024, now you got a pretty good closer, because he was really good 2 years ago.
Yeah, because I think coming into spring training last year, Glenn, is that, you know, Duvall was the closer, but you're like, yeah, we've seen Duvall get shaky at times, holding runners on, pitch clock violations. You know, does he really have what it takes to do it every day or every time an opportunity comes? But if he can't, got a pretty good guy in Walker to close games, right? It was like the 8th inning, Walker was the guy that you still felt confident in. What happened? Duvall struggled, Walker takes over and absolutely deals for a while, and then he struggles after the trade Duvall. So, and then Randy Rodriguez, I thought, you know, that was a huge he had a huge year. He was huge for that pen, and unfortunately we won't see him this year, but he'll be back next year. But yeah, I think that's the biggest question mark. But if you ask any GM, they'll tell you that that's probably the easiest thing to fix as the season goes on.
Yeah, you can get a reliever. Yeah, you can. Yeah. I would agree with that. You know, can you get a real good closer? I mean, you can get a quality reliever, I think, in a trade. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Or, I mean, like, you know, you look at the Diamondbacks bullpen a couple of years ago when the, you know, when they went to the World Series and lost to the Rangers, that the bullpen that they featured, you know, the last couple of months of the season was nothing like the bullpen that they started the season with. It was all different guys, you know, and they found some pieces that worked, and they rode those guys, you know, throughout the playoffs, and they were dominant. You know, I mean, that's kind of how it really works. Very rarely do you see a bullpen, like, you know, start to finish, you know, do what they're supposed to do and stay healthy.
Sure. Yeah, it's a mix and match. Hey, last question. It's about the ABS challenge system, which is coming this year. Of course, we all know all about it. Pitcher, catcher, hitter, they can challenge. What do you think? Are you okay with this as a pitcher? Are you okay with this as a baseball fan?
Both. Yeah, I am. I was hoping they used it last year. You know, I know they had to dial some things in a little bit, make it a little bit more foolproof, experiment with it a little bit more in the minor leagues just to make it just right. And then they did it in spring training last year, and it worked really well in some of those stadiums in the spring. So I think it's time. Now that we have the technology to get it right, and they do it with replay as well, why not? I mean,
yeah, I would agree with that.
There is if you watch a baseball, every baseball game that you watch, there's a pitch or two in a game that I feel like turns the game one way or the other.
Probably right.
And you can feel it almost. A ball that's called a strike that punches a guy out that ends an inning, rather than being a walk or a 3-2 counter. You know what I'm saying? Just
it happens.
little
Happens a couple times a game. Yeah,
exactly. And if you can have the ability to change that and make it right, why wouldn't you? Like, especially when it comes down to the games that really matter. And every game matters for that. For that, right? Every game does matter. But like when you're getting into the playoffs, especially when the stakes are that much higher, you got to get it right. You got to get it right. I think the nuances of it are going to be what's going to be interesting to watch. Who the manager allows to make that call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. It's a strategy. I think every team is going to have their own strategy.
Right. Yeah, right. And I think that's going to be the fun thing to kind of see in spring training, and as the season develops, is who has the authority to make that call.
Yeah.
Is it the catcher? You know, is it Logan? If Logan's pitching, does he have the ability to like say, hey, because it has to be quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has to be.
Did you see the statistics about they took all the challenges from spring training last year, where I don't know how many they were, but they half the stadiums had the system in place. So they did the research of which pitcher, catcher, hitter, the three people that can challenge, which one had the best challenge percentage. Have you seen this?
No.
Have you seen? Well, which one do you think of those three had the best challenge percentage?
I would say it wasn't the pitcher, because pitchers think that everything's a strike.
Good call.
They're not close to the plate. Catchers are tough. They think it's a strike sometimes, and it might just be off. I would say the hitters probably had the best.
It was the catcher.
The catchers, okay.
Yeah, it was the catcher. And, I don't know if it surprised me, but it was interesting to me that the catcher had the best percentage. Now, it wasn't a small sample size. It was, it was fairly large, but, I wonder if that comes into play.
For sure.
Or like you said, what about a pitcher's mentality? If a guy runs a little hot, right?
Yeah.
Do you do you tell him, no, you can't do it?
Yeah. You got to kill. You got to pull the kill switch on that guy. You got to tell him before he even goes out there that you're not challenging no matter what.
I know, but that's going to piss him off, right? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It will, but he got to understand you can't make an emotional decision.
And he's got the catcher too. He's got the catcher that could do it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, now that you mention, the catchers probably. They have the best vantage point of the pitch. They're like an umpire, but closer.
That's what I thought. I thought the catcher probably made the most sense, because a hitter's not much different than the pitcher.
Right. I guess it would be certain hitters that have just really good eyes.
Yeah,
like I would watch games with Brandon Belt, and they'd call a strike, and it would be a ball because we could see it, and he would complain. It would be an inch off the plate.
Sure.
And he would look back at the umpire like, are you kidding me? And I'd be like, that's the guy I would let challenge.
Yeah.
Because
that's fair. That's fair.
He had a really good idea of the strike zone. But that's what I mean. You're gonna have to gain some trust with certain guys on your team, because if you get it wrong, you get one more chance at it, right?
Yeah, you get two, and you hold on to it if you get it right. But I think it's going to be fascinating, the different strategies that teams will have, because it's not going to be done the same way. You may say, we're not doing anything till after the sixth inning.
Right.
That's a possibility.
Yep.
Or
unless it's like a big thing, like a bases loaded situation.
Bases loaded, yeah.
Yeah, unless something that comes up. I think I like it too. What they saw in spring training, if you think about it, like nobody had any pressure on them to get it wrong or right.
Yeah.
Right. There was not the game. Who cares if you lose the game in the spring? During the season, there's a lot more at stake, so there's going to be a lot more like pressure on who on making that decision. But I also liked the efficiency of it in the spring. That's what I noticed that I like that it happened so fast.
Big time.
You know what I mean? I was a
think they
little
put
bit
it on the board.
concerned. Right. I was concerned it was going to take too much time to slow the game down. Nobody likes to see.
No, that wasn't the case at all.
Right. I'm pumped about it.
Okay, good.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be great.
I think it's like everything else, like really almost all the changes that have been made. Players adapt, umpires adapt, and it will just become part of the game. That's just what happens, right?
Exactly. And I know you get a lot of pushback. People get a lot of pushback. Baseball, I don't like the replay. I want traditional. That's great. I get that. But there's so much at stake now, financially, career-wise. They didn't have this opportunity in the past, right? They availability of all these resources in the past, but now you do, and you can get it right. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you take advantage of that if it doesn't slow the game down, right? I mean, replay slows it down a little bit, but they're getting it right. The game's, I think the pitch clock thing was great. I mean, that's the pace. The pace of play now is so much better than it used to be. I think they've done a lot of really good things with the game. I really do. And I think this is going to be another one that's just, and it's exciting too. I think the fans will get into it. You know what I mean?
Oh, no question. No question.
Just that like moment of like looking at it on the big screen and seeing if it's a ball or strike and everybody cheering or booing or whatever. You know, it's just another way to get the fans to interact in the game a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think too, like you mentioned replay, if you think about how many calls are overturned over the course of a season, hundreds and hundreds of calls are overturned in the course of a season, right? I don't have the exact number, but I believe, it's well in, it's probably 400, 500, 600, 700 calls. I'm guessing, right? Yeah. Think about that. Those are calls that are reversed where a mistake was made on the call.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that many overturns doesn't, if they weren't overturned, that wouldn't affect
a game.
Games, right?
100%. It's just it's a level playing field now for everybody, which I think is great.
That's right. Hey, Shawn, we got one more question from Bake That Dough. It's a super chat. He wants to ask you this so much he's paying $1.99 to do it. Shawn, any big league coaching in your future?
Bake That Dough, huh?
Yeah, he's great. Bake That Dough. He and his wife are two of my best customers.
Yeah, no, I would say, first of all, no. And then second of all,
no.
like even if I did, I mean, you gotta want me, right? You gotta want me.
I'd hire you.
I'll absolutely I'd love to be a big league coach, pitching coach, but no one else wants me to.
Yeah. I think I'd hire you and send you to like the Arizona Complex League.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I wouldn't have to. I got to start somewhere, and I wouldn't have to leave home. I could stay.
That's right. See, I take care of you. I promise.
Thank you. My wife would appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. It was awesome. We had over an hour of great baseball chat. You're a good friend. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Arizona. I'll be down there for a couple of weeks, first 2 weeks of March. So I'm sure I'll see you at the ballpark. And you and I will have one of our great chats that we always have. How about that?
That's who it may not even be on the field. It maybe somewhere else. Maybe
I hope
maybe say hi next to the ballpark.
Say hi to your lovely wife. She's a cheesehead. That's why we love her, and I look forward to seeing her as well.
Go Badgers!
That's not funny. Right. Hey, Shawn. Thanks.
All right, bye. See you.
Shawn Estes has been our guest. He's a good man. I've known Shawn for a long time. We've had a lot of fun together, and it's always great to talk with him, and I look forward to seeing him soon enough when spring training starts 1 week from tomorrow. Giants will take the field 1 week from tomorrow at Scottsdale Stadium. How great is that? So hope you enjoyed the show. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about. The comments were great as always. The viewership was great as always. You know how I feel about you guys. On Wednesday, Marty Lurie, the baseball mensch, is going to join me. Look forward to having Marty on. It's actually been a little while. We haven't had him on in a while. We have some great baseball chats. He is got lots of opinions about the Giants and what they're doing. So Marty will join me on Wednesday, so you do not want to miss that. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back again on Wednesday, so tune in then. All right, let's check in one last time with our great sponsors, starting with Partners Capital. It's a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind. Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward with your money. Give them a call, 1-888-702-7743, or go to their website at partnerscapital.llc. We're also brought to you by Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you know what happens. You make money. You see quarterly dividends. It's all good as an investor. They're Bay Area based. They're family owned. I know these people. They are terrific, and they take great care of their investors. Call them if you're interested, 925-209-8558. Go to their website at tildenproperties.com and look at their portfolio. It's pretty impressive. You can get involved with them. Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team. Whether you're in the market to buy or sell your home, trust the Carrick Real Estate Team to guide you home. They have been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a client-first service legacy since 1978. Family-owned, good people. I've dealt with them. Terrific. Call them at 925-548-4132. That is it for the Glen Kuiper Show tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to our special guest, Shawn Estes. Again, 8 days until San Francisco Giants spring training is underway. Can't wait. We'll see you on Wednesday night with the great Marty Lurie. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.